What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Full Court Talk podcast. We're back at it again. It's been a little bit, has some some tough things going, but we got it back. Um we have a very interesting podcast today. It's very free flow, kind of just what we want to do, but
Mhm.
something that needs to be talked about is Jeremy Lin being called the coronavirus in the G League. Uh we have a lot to say about that. The second topic is going to be the All-Star mock draft. As you guys know, the draft for the NBA All-Star teams is happening on Thursday, so we want to get ahead of it and just kind of give a little mock draft for it. And the last one, just for us, topics about the Lakers' struggles and I guess the Warriors' surge. Even though last night the Warriors got spanked last night, we'll see. It's gonna be interesting because I know CJ has a lot to say about his team, and I got a lot to say about mine. But
Yep.
getting into it, so the first thing we're gonna talk about obviously is Jeremy Lin. So if you guys didn't know, I'm Korean, well half Korean. Um, and so this kind of hit home, Bay or Chamberlain's from the Bay Area. He's from Palo Alto, really close to me, really close to
Mhm.
CJ. So it kind of hits different. Uh, my favorite player growing up, or one of my favorite players, was Jeremy Lin. Seeing him go into Linsanity mode was insanely inspiring for a lot of kids, especially me. My brother loved Jeremy Lin. I think I remember seeing Jeremy Lin in one of his first games as a Warrior. I was there when the Warriors played the Knicks and Jeremy Lin was first signed. Even though Jeremy Lin didn't
Mhm.
play, I still
Yeah.
saw him, and it was just awesome to see him. Um, and so I get that a lot of people are calling this trash talk. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I guess, but I like that's different. Trash talk is going up and saying, "Oh, you're trash. Oh, like you suck," or like something like non-personal. You can go personal. You can go like I guess hit the family and stuff. That's a little too much for me, but going after someone's race like that after everything that we've been through in 2020 with the George Floyd murder and all the protests and everything like that. And
Yeah.
it kind of just comes back to it like, is it hypocritical? Because we're still making these disgusting jokes about Asians. Like, and this
Mhm.
is all coming on the back of all this racism against Asians ever since the former president calling it the China virus and like all these different things. So personally, it's disgusting. And we don't want to see this from anyone because it's not fair. It's hypocritical to even say these things about Asians. Um,
Yep.
and like on top of that, I think it's just why do we have to go after each other? Like as minorities, we should stand up together because we
Mhm.
are the minorities. That's what we are, and
Exactly.
we don't want to go against the majority, but we just want to like make it known that we're all equal.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Jeremy said. He's not going to name the person who's been saying this. He's not going to name or the people who have been calling him coronavirus.
Mhm.
And like when you first think about it, like, why just say like just tell us who it is. But the more you think
Yeah.
about it, like that doesn't solve anything. That's just gonna drive
Yeah.
hate on this person that is ignorant to who Asians are.
Mhm.
And I'm hoping that something happens and like it can be resolved because I just think this is disgusting. But what do you think about it?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like you said, you're Korean, I'm Filipino, and we could definitely relate to Jeremy Lin, and for some of us, like we've experienced it like in a personal level, like me and you, we work retail, and so like we've had our fair share of experiences with different customers. But like the thing with Jeremy Lin, like I want to, commend him for even like, bringing the issue up hand, because like I think it's like a taboo sort of topic. In light of everything that's been going on, like it's not easy to talk about something like this because like you don't know the kind of response that you're gonna get. Being an Asian man, like a lot of people would probably think like, oh, like he's just like everybody else that's like dealing with racism in some sort of way, but like it's different, you know what I mean? Like Asians have a lot of stereotypes, some of them they brought upon themselves. Like we have these Asians, in the Bay Area that like to pretend like they're a certain type of group, saying the N-word and all that stuff, so we have that. But you know it's just not fair. Like you said, trash talk is trash talk. Like one thing I also agree, like I think that taking it to their family is just too far. But like there's different ways you can do it. It's all part of the game. You know, you could trash talk, you call somebody a scrub, you can talk about how they shoot, all that stuff. But the moment that you go to their family or you talk about the race, it's just taking it too far. It just shows your insecurities, you know. And you know, like what Jeremy Lin said about how he's not going to reveal the person that did it. Like I respect him for that because you would obviously want to out the guy out. You know what I mean? Like you would want it to be known like he's the guy that said it.
Yeah.
Or you're not even sure if it's just more than one person. You know, it could just be a singular person. But from what it sounds like, it's just more than one. So that's honestly disappointing too. And you know, I don't like to make assumptions, but if I did have to assume, it sounds like it's a young guy. It would
Yeah.
have to be a young guy. You know, I don't think any of the OGs up in the bubble would say something like that. You know what I mean? Unless they're that ignorant. But you know, it's crazy because like in light of like all the Asian hate crimes that have been going on, and you know, the targeting our elders, it's like scary. And like now I can see why Jeremy Lin decided to say something because like it's like an equivalent to everything that's been going on. And like I don't understand it. You know, why would you target like the elders?
Yeah.
Like I don't know about other cultures and I can't speak of it, but you know, me and you, like we can agree, our elders are one of the most sacred part of our religion
Yeah.
and like our lifestyles. Like honestly, like we praise them, we respect them, and then other people are just hurting them. Like I don't understand it. But you know, in terms of Jeremy Lin, like the Asian community, Jeremy Lin, as well as everybody else that's a minority, we gotta stand together and he deserves better, you know, and like what I'm hoping is that, you know, like you said, something will happen, you know, something will change within that bubble as well as everything else moving forward. Because, like, to me, I feel like the guy doesn't have to own up to it, or guys that said it have to own up to it because I don't think they would. But it's just like a change in behavior. You know, basketball is just basketball at the end of the day. Like,
Yeah.
it's not that serious. Like, I get it, they're playing for contracts, you know, but like if you're gonna trash talk an NBA champion who's been through it all, like it just doesn't make sense. That's
Yeah.
why I assume it's a young guy. But at the end of the day, like I respect Jeremy Lin for what he did. You know, real Bay Area right there. So I just hope that he gets the respect that you know he's been due. Like
Yeah.
you see the repertoire and his accolades. So it's just disappointing whoever that person or persons are. So yeah,
Yeah, and it's even worse because Jeremy Lin just seems like such a down to earth, nice person, and he
yeah,
doesn't deserve
exactly.
this kind of treatment at all. So, like we
Yeah,
said, we just want things to get better. Obviously, like it's gonna take a lot of time, and obviously, I don't know if anyone's gonna listen to this, but
yeah,
it's something, you know. I think it just needed to be talked about as both of us are Asian, and it's important for us to talk about these
yeah,
things. But onto a lighter
yep.
part of the podcast, the All Star mock draft. So the All Star game is going on. I don't know the exact day of the All Star game. I think it's this weekend.
7th, the March 7th.
Yeah, yeah. And then the
Yeah,
fourth is
gotta
the
be. Yeah,
draft. Yeah.
yep.
So it,
Draft.
it's coming up. It's the end of this week, so we'll see what happens. I'm kind of excited for it, but at the same time, I don't really know how to feel about it. I
Yeah,
did see
exactly.
Anthony Simmons is in the or Simons, however you say his name, is in the dunk
Yep.
contest. I didn't know he had bounced like that. Um,
Yeah.
but the only two things I watch are the 3-point contest and the dunk contest. I don't the
Yep.
games haven't been interesting lately, so I haven't watched them.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
I was working last year, so I couldn't watch the game itself. But
Yeah.
we're gonna see. But CJ is gonna be LeBron because he is a Lakers fan. And I'm gonna be
Yep.
Kevin Durant, but we're assuming that Bradley Beal takes over that captain role because Kevin Durant isn't gonna play. His replacement is Sabonis in the reserves and Jason Tatum in the starting lineup, just to make it a little clear.
Yep.
And CJ, you have the first pick.
Well, I'm gonna go Giannis, just because you know he was supposed to come to the Lakers. No, I'm just kidding. but, but yeah, I'm just gonna go Giannis just because you know I don't think I mean last season him and Braun were captains,
Yeah,
so they couldn't have played together, and we've seen him play alongside Steph already. And so I would want to see how he does with LeBron instead of competing against him this time. And I think honestly, my first pick was him because I feel like it's going to be awkward since you know, no, not really, but like last season when the Bucks and the Lakers matched up and he did the king thing. I want to see what he has to say about that. So I'm gonna go with Giannis for my first pick.
Honestly, that duo would be nasty. Um,
Yeah.
but Bradley, but I think he would want a shooter next to him. So I'm gonna
Yep.
go Steph. I think that's just right.
Yeah.
Especially on KD's team, just getting
Yes.
back together.
Yes. I agree. I agree. And it's also like you could say that they're Splash Brothers in their own right. You know what I mean?
Oh
He's
yeah,
no Clay. Bradley
yeah.
Beal's no Clay, but that's a
He's been
Splash
balling
cousin, if you
out.
may.
Another
Yep.
40-point loss. So
Yeah. Let's see. For me, like I like to apologize, guys. Like I didn't think this through because obviously, we're doing the draft like live. So I'm gonna go with the Joker. The Joker, he's like
okay,
he's an MVP contention, and like me and Spence have talked about in previous podcasts. This has been one of like the first time in a while where two bigs have been mentioned in MVP consideration. So, that's another playmaker alongside Braun. So should be fun to see.
yeah. I think those three together would be nasty, and it's kind of funny because I think the Joker would probably be your best shooter.
I was about to say that. Yep, the Joker is the best shooter. Man.
And obviously, my pick, I'm gonna go with
Yeah.
Embiid. You know, Bradley
Okay.
Beal, Steph
Yeah.
Curry, Embiid. That's nasty.
That is a nasty lineup, man. It's funny you say how like that's the best shooter out of the three that I got because it's definitely facts. Giannis doesn't have at all a consistent jumper. LeBron's been terrible from three. Can't shoot a free throw. So, yep, Jokic it is. My my next guy, I'd go with Luca. You know,
Ooh, that's a
this
good pick.
the second player after Trey Young to cry to the refs the most. So, we're gonna need that. We're gonna need some fouls called, especially if it goes down the line like the last game from last season. So,
You're not
I'm gonna go
wrong.
with Luca. The Mavs have been playing somewhat well. They recently smacked the Nets, but then again, Kyrie was out. So
Yeah,
yeah, so I'm
and
gonna go with Luca.
Luke is finally hitting threes, which is good to see.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yep. My goodness.
he's been really bad from three lately. No, this whole
Yep.
season. So I'm gonna go with Kawhi. Defensively,
Yep.
we need some kind of defensive
Nice.
stopper on the perimeter,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been balling out lately. So Kawhi's my pick.
Yep. That's a good pick, man. I honestly forgot that Kawhi was in there. So,
I did too.
I mean, so according to what I got here from what we've been keeping track of, Kyrie and Tatum is last. So
Yeah,
since I have enough ball handlers, I'm gonna go with Tatum, just because Duke
mm,
guy, late
Duke
entry to the
bias.
starters, Duke bias right here. Even though they're both from Duke, but I feel like unfortunately Tatum hasn't been playing so well. He's been like inconsistent. You know, um, Obviously against the Wizards recently, he played really well,
Yeah,
but like he's been up and down. He hasn't been like Jaylen Brown, who's been producing every game. So I feel like Tatum would need like either way, either team that he goes to in this All Star, like I'll give him a boost for the second half of the season, so because he'll have fun. But I would just like to get him because like I said, the Duke bias is there, and like he gets to play with Braun. So yeah,
that's a special thing for him. But
yeah,
I saw recently. I think anonymous GM said that he and Jalen Brown just can't be your
yeah,
two guys, and I
yep,
agree.
I saw
They just don't have enough in terms of what they have to offer. Two
yeah.
scoring guys can't be your pillars, right?
Hmm.
That's tough. And then you add Kemba, and Kemba's been pretty bad. So
Yeah, he had one good game recently, from my
yeah, he
understanding.
had like 32, and that
Yeah.
was it. So it's been
Hmm.
tough for him. Okay, so getting
Yep.
on to the reserves. It's my pick, right? Oh no, yeah, your pick,
Yep.
your pick.
Yeah, because you get Kyrie.
Yeah,
That's the last one. So uh let's see. So I got Ron, Giannis. I'm gonna go with my guy Devin Booker. Devin
Okay.
Booker should have never been a last minute entry.
Definitely
As
not.
much as I love AD, yeah, as much as I love AD, he should have never been there over AD.
Yeah.
Even before AD went down, I mean, AD was probably producing like solid numbers. I understand that, but like he was so inconsistent down the stretch. And I get an injury might have been lingering, but Book should have been there. I think he deserves to have been in consideration for a starter as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, like he should have never been a last entry. So I'm gonna go
Yeah.
with Book.
I agree. So you go Booker. I'm going to two who plays the one. I'm gonna go with Harden. Uh, one of
Nice.
the most iconic alley oops from the All Star game is the Steph. Just the toss up and just
Yep.
Harden comes out of nowhere. Love that. We're gonna get back into that, and we can do a little, Kyrie and Harden get back to on the same team again. So I'm down with it. Who's your
Yep.
next pick?
I'm gonna go with Oakland's own Dame Dollar.
You
you know,
definitely needed a point.
yeah, Dame too. Honestly, Lucas said it himself. Dame should have started over him, and I
Yeah,
agree. I was blinded by the first half stats that Luca had in the first half of the season, but as soon as CJ McCollum went down, he only confirmed what should have been seen from the beginning, and that's he deserves an All Star nod. So I'm gonna go with Dame.
yeah, and like I think Dame's been passing really well lately. Uh,
Yeah,
he's actually turned into a true point guard, which is crazy to see because he was always a decent passer. So I'm happy for him
yeah.
because he's been killing it this year.
Hmm.
But this is tough now because this is where it gets kind of like really good players left. But
Yeah.
you know, I'm going to go with Jaylen Brown. I love
Okay.
what Jalen's done this season. First time All Star.
Yeah.
He's been super good, like almost all the time. Like he's consistently hitting his numbers. So I'm gonna go with Jaylen
Yep.
Brown.
Yeah. And like honestly, there was a point where I thought Tatum was better than Brown. But like as of right now, Jalen Brown has been more consistent. He's been producing every game. He's the only one that shows up every game. And like knock on wood, he hasn't been like missing anything. So like games.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, so that's a good pick. Let's see. For me, I'm gonna go with another Dookie. I'm gonna go with the first time All Star. I'm gonna go with Zion. You need some flair in the dunk contest. So I'm looking at lobs from Jokic and Braun. So I'm gonna go with Zion. Zion, his first 55 games in the NBA has been nuts, and like
Yeah,
he doesn't have like any type of bag when it comes to offense, but it's just sheer power. And like you didn't think that the things that he did would translate into the NBA, but he does, and he consistently puts up double numbers. And like I know this because of my fantasy. Shout out Zion for sure. He's keeping me alive, but I'm gonna go with Zion. So
another guy I was wrong about. He's been insanely good this season. I was 100% wrong about that, and I'm okay with it. He's been killing it
yeah,
this year. Um,
yeah,
I gotta go with the first time All Star again. Zach Levine, man, he would
yep,
be.
well
He's going
deserved.
to be so much fun to watch in the All Star game.
Oh
He's
yeah,
one of those guys that
definitely.
just fits in the All Star game. He's perfect for the All Star game. So I'm
Yeah,
down with that.
yeah, well deserved too. First time All Star nod, especially what he had to come back from the ACL injury. Like
Yeah,
it's crazy.
he's been killing it for Chicago.
Yeah, no, definitely. Let's see. My next pick, I am gonna go with the Fresh Prince, Ben Simmons. Doesn't deserve to be there. Sabonis should have been there first,
Yep.
but hey, the clutch ties run deep. So I'm gonna go with Ben Simmons. I always feel like he loves playing with LeBron. Not only does he like to compete with him, I feel like he always has something to prove when he plays with
Yeah.
or against him. You know what I mean? So because a lot of people said that Ben Simmons was the second coming of LeBron. So I mean, I don't
Yeah.
see it, but it's all good. Fresh Prince, Ben
And
Simmons.
he could be so good because we
Hmm.
just saw him drop 40.
Yep.
And if he's that aggressive every night, there's
Hmm.
nothing stopping that duo. But he's just so passive. And I get it, like he wants to be a playmaker, but He's got to take charge sometimes.
Yep.
So I need a big. I don't want Rudy because, he's shoving mics, bro. I'm gonna go with Vucevic.
Yeah.
He's been
Okay.
so good this year. Um,
Yep.
like he's just one of those guys that's consistently gonna get his numbers no matter who he's going against. Doesn't matter if he's going
Yep.
Draymond, AD, he's gonna somehow get 20 and 15, whatever he gets. Good
Yep.
shooter and just a solid player all around.
Yeah. Honestly, I think he needs out from Orlando.
Yeah.
They need production elsewhere. And I could see him going to the Spurs,
Oh,
honestly.
he'd be nice on the
Like,
Spurs.
if I'm the Spurs, I'm trying to swap for LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because Vooch and Pop's system, man, that would be like a killer duo. So
Yeah.
I hope he gets to go to a contender. Um, let's see. Yeah, my team has no shooting except for Devin Booker and Dame.
No, Ben Simmons hit a three the other night, bro.
Oh man, you know what? That's crazy. I guess. Well, knowing that, I'm gonna go with Donovan Mitchell, just because out
Yeah.
of those two that made it to the Jazz from the Jazz, I think he deserves it more than Rudy. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, Rudy's been playing well, but like Donovan Mitchell, like he's a big part of why Utah is streaking right now. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I think Donovan Mitchell, like, he's on my fantasy team. I've loved him because he's just
Mm-hmm.
consistently, even if he has a bad shooting game, he's doing so many other things. And defensively, he is really good for his size. It's like six
Gotten
foot
better.
one,
Yeah.
6'2". So
Yeah.
he's a good player. I'm gonna go with Sabonis. I need a 4. And Sabonis is so crafty for
Yep.
his size. You can definitely
Mm-hmm.
tell he
Yeah.
learned something from his dad.
Yeah. And like no disrespect, but like every year the All-Star game has guys that do not have this flair and just there just because they did so well during the season.
Yeah.
And Savanis and Vooch are those guys. You know what I mean?
You're not
Like
wrong.
these guys they're not flashy, but they made it because they're all stars. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they
But
just do
these are
well.
these are the type. Yeah, these are the type of guys that'll do some basic stuff in the All Star game, which you respect it. You know what I mean?
Like
And so,
Joakim Noah, bro.
yeah, exactly. Joakim Noah. My next pick, I'm so glad this person made it. Julius Randle.
Yeah.
He was part of the Lakers' young core, and I don't know if you saw the report, but like he said that as soon as LeBron signed with the Lakers, he
He wanted
demanded to
out.
be released, and
Yeah.
yeah, and that makes me so sad because he would have been the perfect big next to LeBron. You know what I mean? He ran the floor like him, and look what he's doing in New York right now. The Knicks have the fourth seed in the East. That's crazy. I know the East is weak, but like the Knicks have been a laughing stock, bro.
Yeah.
And so for them to be up there, like I was wrong about the Knicks. I for sure was wrong about the Knicks.
I didn't think they'd be the
um,
fourth
you know,
seed.
yeah, it's early in the first half of the season, obviously, but that's still saying something. So props to them. But I'm just glad Julius Randle got that All Star nod.
Yeah. And offensively, that team
Yeah,
isn't good, but
yeah,
defensively, they are monsters. They are
yep,
a
they
tough
are.
team to go against. Even like Frank
Yeah,
Ntilikina is finally getting into it because I saw the other night he had a game sealing steal, so that's good for him.
yeah. And if
Um,
you think about it, this Knicks team doesn't even have Mitchell Robinson or Taj Gibson. I mean, I know Taj is old, but like it's just Nerlens Noel holding it down. So that's saying something.
Nerlens been tough this season. He hasn't had a great season, but
Yeah.
he's still playing well, and I would have loved him on the Warriors because he's a solid big, good
Yep.
backup big. So I'm gonna go with Chris Paul. Chris Paul is
Hmm.
you have him on your team, you win games. That's basically what it is at this point. I don't know what else to say
Agreed.
about him. He's just what 36, 35, still defying age.
Yeah.
And I think there's 2 players left, Rudy and Paul George.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just want to go back on CP3. CP3, like a lot of people talk about year 18 LeBron, but look what CP3's been doing. I know he entered the league right after Bron, but like he's up in age, but like you said, he's still defying,
Yeah.
the oldness and like I'm just glad that he's getting respect because, bro, like he went to the Thunder. Thunder made the playoffs. Suns didn't make the postseason last season. They were close, but now they're in good position to make it. You know what I mean? And so like that's just the CP3 effect. Point God,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and like it isn't like the Suns were really close, and it's not like they're like the eighth, seventh seed. Like they're
Yeah,
like second, third seed team right now, and probably one of the
exactly.
scariest teams to go against. So
Hmm.
he's a phenomenal player.
Yeah, good coach and Monty.
Yeah.
He's getting the credit after that 8-0 start in the bubble yesterday or last season.
Yeah.
So, I guess my last player is, bro. Like, I'm sorry, there's no way in hell I'm picking PG. you know, PG man, nope. So I'm gonna go with the person who started this whole thing. Rudy Gobert. Stupid decision that he made last season. That
Yep.
shut everything down.
Yep.
Um, at the end of the day, if I'm LeBron, I can still tell him what to do. So I would tell him to sit down. But I'm gonna go with Rudy, bro. Ain't no way I'm picking PG. And like it's just a personal thing. But let me just say this: PG has been doing well this season. Like his numbers show for themselves. He had a terrible game like recently, but um, the people are slandering him, including myself, but I wasn't saying it. It's just that, it's just sheer hate for the guy because
Yeah.
of how he was and how he is. But like you can't deny the fact that he's still an elite player. It's just that he's just annoying to me at this point. So yeah. So yeah,
I
I'm gonna go
agree.
with Gobert.
Paul George just I don't think he's gonna be the last pick in the draft. Um, that's just how we
Hmm.
operate.
Yep,
He's a great player. Like we can't deny that. He's
he is.
one hell of a player, but he also his attitude is
Hmm.
really annoying. Like he talks
Exactly.
himself up so much and he never takes any kind of responsibility for any loss. He kind of just like
Exactly.
pushes it off and is like, it was on him, bro. And it's like,
The coach's fault. Anybody but him.
yeah, yeah, you can't do
Yeah.
that as an elite player. You never hear
Yep.
Steph say, Kent Bazemore should have hit more shots. You never hear
Hmm.
LeBron say that either. So it's just how he holds himself, and it just kind of bothers me a lot. Just
Yeah.
man, it just kind of bothers me. But we'll run through the teams real quick. So you have Bron. So LeBron, Giannis, Jokic, Luca, and Tatum are your starters.
Yep.
Devin Booker, Dame Dalla, Zion, Simmons, Mitchell, Julius Randle, and Rudy Gobert. Round out your team.
Yeah.
That's
Yes, sir. We need shooting.
your best shooter on the
Yeah.
bench. Dame and Ben
Dame.
Simmons. Ben Simmons has been insane. Um, my starters: Bradley Beal, Steph Curry, Embiid, Kawhi, and Kyrie. That triple-headed guard. That's nasty.
That
Um,
is nasty.
my reserves: James Harden, Jalen Brown, Zach LaVine, Vucevic, Sabonis, Chris Paul, and Paul George. Pretty balanced for the most
Yep.
part, but
Yeah.
we'll
Should
see.
be fun.
I'm
Yeah. I
excited.
mean,
I'm
I
excited.
yeah, and I know you said you couldn't watch the game last season, but honestly, last season's game was probably the best I've seen in a
Yeah,
while. It's
that's what I heard.
competitive.
Yeah.
There's a lot on the line, so I hope they can replicate that for this upcoming one and this weekend.
Yeah, like that's always been the reason I don't watch the All-Star game is like it's just a
Yeah,
bunch of like dunks and like open shots and like I'm not a fan of seeing that. Like I
it's
want
not
to
the
see
same. It's
competitive
not as
play.
competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited. I don't know exactly who's in the dunk contest here. I know I saw Anthony Simmons
My
and
guy,
that's
Cassius Stanley.
oh yeah, Cassius. How is he gonna he's
Yep.
not even in the NBA.
I know he's not even in the NBA, but it's all good. He's gonna
Okay,
find the way.
I might actually watch it because like if you guys don't know, Cassius is a
Hmm.
monster of a dunker.
Yep.
Um, I've seen some of his workout tapes. He's insanely bouncy. So
Yep.
I might have to tune in for that. And I'm kind of interested to see what Anthony is because like I've never seen him have any nice dunks, but I know he's like 6'4". He's got good size, so I'm excited to see that.
Yep.
Um, I have no idea who else is in it. I haven't really been paying attention to the All-Star events as much. I did see Robert Covington is for some reason in the skills challenge.
Yeah, that's great. I'm not gonna watch. No, I'm just kidding.
The skills challenge is never really something I watch just because like it's
Yeah,
not super interesting anymore. Um,
yeah,
I like the idea of introducing bigs, but I'm guessing they couldn't get anyone else because I've never seen Robert Covington make a pass. So, and like that's part of the skills
hmm,
challenge, you know?
yep,
So we'll see. All Star Weekend is always a lot of fun to watch. It's going to be interesting to see how they pull it off all in one night.
yep,
And if you're in the All Star game and you play the first half, like, and you have to do the dunk contest, that might be tough.
yeah.
We'll see. Hopefully, Aaron Gordon's back in the dunk contest because I want to see him. Well, no, he's hurt, huh?
He is hurt, but I do want to see him win. He deserved to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I've heard that guy's dumb, really dumb. But
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
like even in his interviews, you can tell like he's pretty dumb. But
Yeah.
going on to the last topic of today, the Lakers struggles and the Warriors surge. So I didn't have a
Yeah.
chance to watch last night's game, and I'm glad I didn't. The Warriors got blown out by 26.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, it was a 30-point blowout that got better.
Yeah.
Not even better. It's like 4 points better. But I'll let you start. I know you said you have a
Um.
lot to talk about on the Lakers, so go ahead.
Well, I mean, let me go back and just date right before like AD got injured. He was already playing bad, and like after he got injured, they want to blame it on the injury. That might have been the case, but it's just this is one of the things that I wasn't. I'm not gonna say I was embarrassed, but when the Lakers traded for AD, I was pretty upset because the young core they're trading away. I always felt like AD was gonna come to the Lakers in free agency, so I felt like we didn't have to give up that much. But obviously, he came with the ship, so whatever. But um, AD being injury prone will always be a part of his career. You know what I mean? Like that's unfortunate to say, but yeah, it's just the Lakers struggles, bro. Like Steph has been carrying the Warriors, and people know how I feel about the Warriors, but he's been carrying the Warriors without Clay, and he has Draymond, and like Draymond has recently found his niche, and like he had a triple double, and I think like a stat that said he has more assists than points, and that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like, yeah, Steph has been carrying this Warrior team who was projected to be a lottery team, but now they're in the 7th seed, and like I mean, no disrespect to the Warriors, but he's playing with some scrubs. You know what I mean? And so LeBron has a championship team, and like, the hell is going on? And like, I know they've been playing some good teams, the Jazz, the Nets. Like, you can't do much about that. But like, other teams that like we could have beat but didn't. Like, it's just so disappointing. And like, if you guys, whoever is watching, see my tweets about Kyle Kuzma, my God, oh my God. I told Spencer, like, man, like as soon as he checked into the game, like I didn't even want to watch because the first time the Lakers played the Warriors, um, the Lakers were up a lot too. That's why I wasn't getting comfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, man, like he can't be comfortable in any lead against the Warriors, especially if Steph's playing. So like it's just it was disappointing because like I'm not gonna lie, like Kuzma has been playing better. He's finally knowing his role defensively, but bro, you can't erase the boneheadedness. Like, my goodness, like he's just a waste of space out there, dude. Like, oh my God. But yeah, it's just like the narrative has to fit the same. So if Steph Curry can do it, then LeBron should be able to do it too. Because LeBron is no stranger to leading terrible teams,
Yeah.
but ever since AD went down, he started like playing horrible. I mean, he does what he can, but the 3-point percentage that really increased went down again.
Yeah.
So I don't understand like what's going on, and like there should be no excuses. I get it. The Lakers also didn't have Shooter, but like I said, look at the championship team that LeBron has.
Hmm.
You know, compared to what the Warriors have, bro. The Warriors are winning without two bigs. Can you explain that to me? you know, and so like, I get it. Like teams are different. Who the Warriors played and who the Lakers played,
Yeah.
but it's just like the excuses shouldn't be there, and it's just so disappointing because, bro, during this 4-game losing streak, we've gotten pieced.
Yeah.
Like not 18, not 16, but like 20, 24. Like, and so like, yeah, like Laker fans have been spoiled recently. and like we're no strangers to the struggle. Same thing with the Warriors.
Yeah.
But it's just like if you're gonna be a great player and GOAT consideration, you got to be able to lead. And like that's the last thing I'll say. And also, you got to be able to make free throws. Otherwise, you look like Giannis out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's my piece on the Lakers. And oh, sorry, one last thing. The game with the Warriors yesterday, like I honestly like, even though like I was happy that the Lakers won, I still don't think like the Lakers are trending in the right direction. Because even with Schroeder back and playing well, um, that's one of the Warriors are one of the teams that are elite right now that we've beaten. And so I want to see how else they do moving forward, especially with the second half of the season. Hopefully AD comes back. So
Yeah, and like to go off the Lakers, like looking at their first 4 wins before the struggle, those were bad
yeah.
wins, right? Two
Yeah.
OT games against the Pistons. Then you go
Yep.
two OT game against the
The Thunder.
Thunder. And it's like
Yeah.
those are like the Pistons are the worst team in the NBA right now. Next to the
Yep.
Timberwolves. They're the worst team in the East.
Mm-hmm.
And the Thunder aren't much better. I think they're 11th or 12th in the Western Conference. So those aren't good wins. Those are embarrassing wins, I think, at that point. You
I
shouldn't
agree.
be going to
I agree.
multiple or one OT against the bottom feeding teams. Um,
Yep.
and it's not a good look. Like you said, AD hasn't been playing up to his standards. I think he's averaging like 20 compared to like the 27, 28 he was averaging last year. Defensively, he's still the
Mm-hmm.
same, but he just looks passive. He doesn't
Yeah.
look like the same beast that he was in years past.
Mm-hmm.
And that's concerning because the Lakers are a hell of a team that got Montrezl Harrell, Marc Gasol, Wesley Matthews. Had kind of figured he wasn't going to be that good. Um,
Yeah.
but they added pieces that made sense. Dennis Schroeder was an amazing get for them, but
Yep.
it just kind of seems like they're still trying to figure it out. Uh,
I agree.
and the problem is that defensively, they don't have that defensive stopper right now. When your two
Nope.
bigs are Marc Gasol, who's got the IQ but doesn't have the physicality anymore, that's a wash. Montrezl
Yeah.
Harrell is a
Yep.
turnstile on defense. He puts his hands up. He's like, "Oh, I contested it," and the guy will get right by him.
He watches the ball, bro. That's what I noticed. He doesn't get
Yeah,
rebounds. He just watches the ball.
and it's weird because he's a phenomenal rebounder. He did a really good job in a Clippers uniform rebounding the ball, but this season
Yeah.
just kind of seems like he's just not all there.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and Kuz,
Yeah.
yeah,
Kuz.
he's not
Kuz.
good. He's not good,
Nope.
man. Like he was really
Yeah.
good in his rookie year, and then ever since then he's been trending down. This season, I think he's trending up, but
Yeah.
it's not enough to the point where like, oh, he's gotten a lot better. He's just not showing enough of that what he
Yeah.
could be because he could be a really good player. Um,
Yeah.
it's tough because I know like this is like it's not an entirely new team, but it's still a new enough team where you need to get used to it. And having your best player
Yeah.
out now is going to be really good for them in the future. Because as soon as they learn to play without AD, the better it's going to be when he comes back. But
There's that too. Yeah.
if he stays like non-existent and passive,
Yeah.
he's going to be useless.
I agree.
And it's the same thing when
I agree.
KD went out with in his first season, and the Warriors got used to playing without him in the end of the first game or end of the first season. The Warriors benefited from that, but it was
Yeah.
a lot different because KD was obviously a lot better than AD, and he was
Yeah.
able to fit in very nicely early on.
Yep.
But going on to the Warriors, even though it looked like they did really well, they were still 8-7. They finally got a 3-game win streak, which is a positive, but it's
Mm-hmm.
still tough because like this team has a lot more potential than I think a lot of people think. Um,
Yeah.
the starting lineup is phenomenal. I think they've done a great job with what they've had so far. Um,
Yeah.
but the bench is god awful. It's one of the worst benches I've ever witnessed in my life. As a Warriors fan, uh,
Yeah.
Wanamaker is so bad.
Yeah,
I've
Wanamaker.
never I've never seen someone. So you bring him in for consistency,
Yeah.
and he's not just he's well, no, he's been consistent. He's just consistently bad. Like
Yeah.
he's so frustrating, bro. Like I've never seen
Yeah.
someone so small take it into the teeth of defense multiple times,
Yeah.
get his shit blocked, and he's like, "Let
Yep.
me do that again." And it's
Yeah.
like you're a good
Him and
passer.
Kuzma, man.
They're
Him
besties,
and
bro.
Kuzma.
And like, bro, I
Yeah.
it's so frustrating to watch because like there was I don't know if you've seen that one play where the ball's hopping around, it gets to Wanamaker, and then he wraps around for the Eric Pascal like dunk on the Spurs.
Yeah.
You could do that all the time because Pascal's always in some kind of dunker spot, no matter what.
Yep.
But you
Yep.
choose to go to the teeth of the defense every time and just put it up.
Trying to make a play for yourself. Yeah.
And it's insane because I don't know what's wrong with him because he's a good player.
Yep.
He's a good player
He is.
for what he's done and where he's been. He's a good player. But
Mm-hmm.
at this point, I don't care if you lose the money. Just drop him. I am so tired of him. You have
Yeah.
Nico Mannion, Jordan Poole, and Jeremy Lin killing it in the G League, and you're telling me
Yep.
all three of those guys weren't good enough to play over Wanamaker?
I'm
I don't
surprised
get
none
it.
of them have been recalled. You know.
You can't leave the bubble.
But well, I mean, Trey Jones and the other guy from the Spurs, they got recalled. You
You
know.
can do
So
that. I swear I
yeah,
heard you can't.
that's
Oh my, that makes it even worse.
yeah. Yeah, no, honestly, like no joke, because like Trey Jones started to kill it, and
Yeah,
so like the
yeah.
Spurs like made an announcement that they recalled him, so he's back with the team.
I
Yeah,
swear I heard you couldn't. That makes me even more mad that Wanamaker's still there. Because Jordan Poole is
yeah,
averaging, I think he's the second highest points per game in the G League. Jeremy
yeah.
Lin,
No, he's
he's
killing it,
been
dude.
exactly, and they still won't put him up. I don't get it. And I don't know
Yeah.
if you've seen this, but my friend showed me there was like a 3-minute mixtape from the same game of Jordan Poole's nice
Hmm.
passes. And these were tough
Yeah.
passes to make. He's a playmaker, but they won't bring him up for that. But I don't want to keep talking about Wanamaker. He just frustrates me. Someone to talk
Yeah.
about Kelly Oubre. I have been warranting a trade for him for the longest time, but now I'll admit I was wrong. So
MJ
going,
in February.
I don't get it. I really
Yeah.
don't get it. But so December Oubre, 4 games, 7.8 points, 26% from the field, 5% from three. And January gets a little better. 16 games, 13 points per game, 40% from the field, 28% from three. And then February, he pops off. He's averaging 20 points, 50% from the field, 44 from three. And this
Yes,
was
sir.
projected stats by Grant Liffman. So for March, 37 points, 63% from the field, and 102% from three. I can see it the way Ubre's been playing because he's been ridiculous. Uh,
Yep.
he's been a monster on defense all year, which is the only thing I could commend him for before February. But now he just
Yeah.
seems comfortable. He's cutting, and I think a lot of people think that all the assists from Draymond are coming from Steph, but if you really
Yeah.
watch the games, they're coming from Uber cuts. Um,
Yep.
to start out the game before the Lakers, I can't remember who they played, but it was a complete dunk fest. Like Uber had like 5 or 6 straight dunks,
Was it
and
Charlotte?
yeah, it was Charlotte. Yeah, you're right. He was
Yeah.
dunking everything whenever he got a chance. And even though that
Yeah.
game came down to the wire, Uber really kind of held us up in the first part.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Ubre's just been a lot more comfortable and a lot better lately.
Hmm.
So as long as he can keep this up, and I don't care if he scores 20 points a game, even if it's like 17, 18 points a game, I'm fine with that. Just play your role. And he's been doing a great job of it. I think
Yep.
someone to be worried about now is Wiggins. He's been a lot more
Yeah.
passive. Uh,
Yeah.
now he just can't hit a free throw. He's almost a guaranteed split at the free throw line now. So I don't know what's up with
Yeah.
him. Um, but Steph has been insane all year. He's down to 29.5 points a game, but he's still in the month of February. For some reason, these guys are going off, but he's averaging 32
Yeah.
points on
Hmm.
49.8 from the field, 42 from 3, 95 from the free throw, getting 7 assists a game with 5 rebounds.
Yeah.
The Warriors are a good team, but I think a lot of people don't think the backup point guard spot is important, but it's actually
Yeah.
extremely important because you need
Oh
someone
yeah.
to run the bench just to have some kind of playmaking.
Yep.
Damian Lee can't be your playmaker. Uh,
Yeah.
I know Kelly Oubre runs with the twos a lot, and he's not a playmaker. James
Yeah.
Wiseman is now in the 2 spot, and I'm fine with that. He's not a playmaker. Like Eric Pascal looks for his own shot 100% of the time, which I'm fine with. But you need someone that's going
Yeah.
to get them good looks. And Wanamaker just isn't it.
Is not it.
No, he is like what you think
Yeah.
of Kuz is probably what I think of Wanamaker.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. And I don't
Yeah.
know where you go from here on a guy like that. Like I would drop
Yeah.
him, but obviously I don't know the monetary like problems with doing something like that. I've heard that they
Yeah.
might release Smiley Geach because
Mm.
he's been really bad in the G League. So I would think I personally I want Jeremy Lin to come back up, uh,
Yeah.
just because like the Bay Area ties. But he gets hurt a lot. You know, he's been dealing with some back issues, so I don't know how that's gonna work.
Yeah.
But I can see the Warriors kind of going on a streak. Hopefully, I think these next games for them, I think pre All Star is gonna be tough. We have
Yeah.
Phoenix, we have Clippers, or no, I know we have Phoenix, and then after the All Star break, we have the Lakers and the Clippers and the Jazz.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough, but I think we had the toughest first half, and then the second half is going to be our easy schedule. So we'll see. I'm excited because I
Yeah.
think this team is just getting better, but we'll see.
No, I agree. And like, I just want to say, like, my favorite warrior is JTA, right?
Oh, hell
And
yeah.
aside from him, like you're right about Oubre, like the month of February, like he was going crazy. And like you said, like you would think that a lot of Draymond's assist is to Steph, but if you watch the games closely, it's Steph coming up right for a three, somebody setting him a screen. But at the same time, two people are going to Steph. They're jumping him because Steph is Steph.
Yeah.
So you're going to double him. That leaves Oubre, who's often the screener, wide open for a curl, and that's where the dunk comes in.
Yeah.
And they did it twice in like not consecutive possessions against the Lakers, but a possession they did it, and then got it to Steph. Didn't work out. Passed it up. The next possession after that, same thing. Oubre was open. So like if you watch these games and you see the Warriors play, and a lot of Draymond's dishes are Oubre dunks, Wiggins dunks, but mostly Oubre dunks as well. But yeah, like Wiggins has been trending downward for some reason. He's been struggling. I think he'll find it just because he showed you guys what he can do.
Yeah.
He's a two-way player finally reaching his somewhat potential, but he's still got plenty to go. And then Oubre, like I know you wanted to trade, but if I'm a Warrior fan, like I would keep him.
Yeah.
Like he competes. You saw yesterday, like I know you didn't see the game, but yesterday he was picking up LeBron at full court. Oftentimes, like the ball would have to go to Schroeder, and so like the competitiveness is definitely there. And I think, like you said, he's definitely getting comfortable with playing with the Warriors because, for the most part of the season, like they're just getting their feet wet, learning to play amongst each other, right? And like I know you didn't know that you can call players up from the G League, but I think now is the time to do it, especially with like Jordan Poole and Nico killing it. Like Jeremy Lin, yes, he unfortunately he's been injury prone, but he anybody's better than Wanamaker at this point, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And those three guys are all playmakers.
Yeah.
And Wiseman, like he's coming back from injury. I know he had 16 when he came back, but yesterday with the Lakers he scored 7. So it's going to be like an up and down thing with him, being a rookie. But you can't forget that he's not an elite player.
Yeah.
And so like Steph has been mediocre recently, like the past 2 or 3 games. Like he hasn't been subpar, but Steph is still Steph, dude. That's a human torch right there. You can never ever count him out. So like the Warriors are still going to be up there. I don't, to me, like I'm gonna make a bold statement and say they're not going to need to compete for that last seed. You know what I mean? I don't think they're going to have to play in that play-in tournament. That's just me. I think they'll go higher than 7.
Yeah.
But they're certainly capable of doing it. But yeah, it's just like yesterday, like it was just we got lucky and caught them at a bad spot because you already know what they can do when they're not. You know what I mean? And that game was tricky because what does that say? So the Lakers won without AD, but at the same time, like I want to give prayers to Draymond. I hope it's nothing serious.
They
You
said
know, so
he should be okay.
okay, good, yeah, because that injury was bad because like the play was already done, and then Schroeder was or KCP was trying to go away, and then their feet got caught. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, like what does that say? Like Lakers won without AD, but at the same time they beat the Warriors without Draymond. So it's just confusing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I like what I see, from them. So I'm pretty sure they're going to be competing for the rest of the season. So yeah, let me just put that out there now because I've been somewhat correct with the Wardell MVP consideration. I'm gonna say that they're not going to need the play-in tournament. I think they're just going to make the playoffs.
I hope they don't because you don't want to be in that play-in tournament.
Yep.
First, like you can gain rhythm from it, but you can also get a lot of injuries from it.
Yeah.
You don't want to be competing for a bottom seed to go against the Lakers or the Clippers.
Yeah.
You don't want to go in a game like that.
Yeah.
And like the Nuggets are right there with them. So if we can,
Surprisingly, right?
the Nuggets have been really bad. I think they're going to make
Yeah.
some kind of trade. I'm not sure who they'll get rid of. But they need to make some kind of move because this is the same team almost, just a little weaker bench. And you would think that some guys would step up, but they haven't. Jamal Murray's
Nope.
been really good lately, but he's been
Yeah.
inconsistent almost all season. Jokic is
Yep.
their best player by far, and he's the only consistent guy on that roster.
Yep.
But, we're going to see what happens. All-Star break's coming up. We're excited for that. And the trade deadline is coming up, the 25th, I believe. So that's going to be exciting time. We're going to see some trades go down. And most likely we'll talk about it. So I'm excited for that. Hopefully some big ones come up because we need some titles. We need some headlines, something interesting.
Even in the buyout market, something.
Yeah, something's going to happen. I think if Drummond doesn't get traded, he's definitely going to get bought out. And Kevin Love, I heard as soon as he's healthy, he's getting bought out. So it's time
Somebody please go to the Lakers. We need help. Like the big area.
You guys need some kind of big. But Damian Jones was kind of nice last night. I saw you had 8.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he got injured, bro. Like
he got hurt.
Yeah, he's trained his back. He had to leave the game. Yeah. Yeah, dude. That's why I was like, oh wow, he got 8 points, and then all of a sudden I get a notification. Damian Jones left the game with a lower back strain. I was like, wow.
There goes the 10-day.
Yeah, there goes, right? Oh man.
Yeah, that's tough, bro. He was playing well, I'm guessing.
He was.
But that's gonna do it. Yeah, honestly, that might have been it because I know he probably doesn't like the Warriors.
Oh man.
But that's gonna do it for us. This is our 33rd podcast, first one back from everything that happened. So thank you for CJ for coming on, and thank you for just,
of course,
being there the whole time.
Yeah,
we're gonna come back weekly now, every Monday, and if it's not every Monday, we're still gonna put out once every week. But that's gonna do it for us. But be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check us out in the links down below. But catch you guys in the next one. Peace.